Hi guys, Rod Astrid. Okay, so today's an LOE. Rod, when did you last fly?
I did a trip to Dalaman 2 weeks ago and had time off, and now I'm back in to do my LOE.
Okay, and Astrid?
I just started a flight yesterday to Palma.
Good, so sounds like you're both recent and current. So before we start into the LOE, could I just check your licences please, or pass them over to me and I'll check them in a little while. Thank you very much. Line orientated evaluation. This is similar to a line check in the simulator, and I'll be effectively the line check captain for today. So what we'll be looking at is a number of events, and within those events I'll be able to choose sort of sub-events effectively, and with those we'll be able to assess how pilots are reacting with the threats and errors that we see and how they manage those risks. We'll also be covering a number of events in the briefing to see to check on your knowledge, etc. Any questions so far?
No, it's fine, thank you.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so in today's LOE, the autothrottle is going to be unserviceable. So how will this affect you? Rod?
I can't really see any issues. I've flown for over 20 years without any autopilot and autothrottle. I can't see being any problems.
And Astrid?
Well, there could be many issues, from monitoring due to low arousal state to considering thrust settings at different phases of flight to go-rounds. We need to be alert.
Good point. Well done. Yes.
Excellent. So it sounds like you're well set up as a crew to deal with the unserviceable autothrottle. We've also seen some issues with icing recently, sometimes from tanking into a destination, and also sometimes with hoarfrost on the top of the wing. So what is the limit that we're allowed on the underside of the wing? Rod?
Well, obviously I always check the aircraft when I do a walk round, and I would always be very concerned if... I would generally make sure there's no frost.
No frost at all?
No, I would just make sure the airplane is alright as far as the frost is concerned.
So what sort of limit would we put onto that then?
Just as long as it's reasonable.
Astrid, is that correct?
A build-up of 3 millimeters is the acceptable limit.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Good. And what about on top of the wings, if we had some frost on top of the wings?
As you said earlier, if you've been tanking or if you've spent a long time at high altitude, the frost will almost certainly show the outline of the fuel tanks, and that must be de-iced and cleared before you proceed.
Good, excellent. Well done. One other area that we again have threats to is circling approaches. So what is the protected area for a Cat C aircraft? Astrid?
An arc of 4.2 nautical miles from each runway threshold.
Do you agree with that, Rod?
Oh, the figure of 3.7 comes to mind. I was thinking that would be the...
It's 4.2 nautical miles.
4.2? 5.2?
5.2, that's interesting. So what would 5.2?
Oh, that must be for the Cat D aircraft.
So 767? Right. And is it 5.2? Astrid?
I think so.
It's 5.28 nautical miles.
Okay, so we have 5.28 nautical miles for a Cat D aircraft and 4.2 nautical miles for a Cat C. Okay, good. Right, to summarise today, this is an LOE from Gatwick to Dalaman. It's a constituted crew, so as a constituted crew you operate normally and you make the decision who's going to be pilot flying and pilot monitoring. So have you made that decision?
I don't mind at all. What would you like to do?
Happy to start?
Yes, Astrid can start.
Okay, so Astrid, you're pilot flying. So as a crew, you've got to make a decision on the fuel, and once you've made that decision, if you let me know what it is, and I will put that fuel into the tanks for you.
Do you have the flight plan?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go fast, Astrid.
Yeah.
Got to bring the thrust back. Oh, what's that?
Right generator of QRH.
Okay, if you have a look, you've got right AC bus as well. That's a better drill. That will cover both of those failures. If we do that, I'm sure it's be better to do.
Well, are you sure it's the right AC bus?
I believe so. If you see there, I'll show you in the checklist.
I think it's the right generator.
It is also the bus failure, I think, is the criterion here. Let's have a look. So, page 6.1, right AC bus not powered. Right, here we are, gen control switch, off then on. That's the one that you're saying has failed. It's off and then on. That appears to be coming back. Make sure that's all right. No, that has failed. That right gen is off. Only when reset is allowed, so that can go off. And it now goes, if APU is available, go to step 3, which is start APU, start then on. When the APU is running, we then do the buzz tie switches. So we're waiting on the APU. So we're waiting for the APU here. When the APU is running, we then start to reset the AC buses. We've got no status, so we've got to wait for this APU run light. Should be up in about another 20-30 seconds. Choose one, both bus lights. Right. So we've got to now choose one.
What did you start it?
Yes, it's running, should be. Select the there. Ah, there's the APU running, and the next step is attempt 1 reset only, left buzz tie switch off, then auto buzz tie switch off, then auto, there we go, attempt 1 reset, right buzz tie switch off, then auto, stick shaker recover, lower the nose, bust, there we go. .210, back to 220 then.